What if I told you there's a 1400-year-old concept that perfectly explains the power of your social media feed? And no, we're not talking about some vague, dusty idea. We're talking about a sharp, precise tool for understanding the hidden authority in our digital world. So, let's dive in. I know. It sounds like a bit of a stretch, doesn't it? An ancient ruler and this supercomputer in your pocket. But the logic that connects them is surprisingly direct. And trust me, it affects how you see the world every single day. The connection is right there, hiding in plain sight. So, our whole journey starts with a single, really powerful word, Taghut. To even begin to understand this idea of a digital pharaoh, we first have to get a handle on what this ancient term actually means. And here's the key. It's all in the word's origin. It comes from a root that means to overflow. I want you to picture a river just bursting its banks, flooding everything. That's Taghut. So it's not just a simple word for evil. No, it's any authority, a person, an idea, a system that swells beyond its proper, God-given limits and starts grabbing power it was never meant to have. And this sets up the central choice presented in the Quran. On one side, you have guidance that's based on truth, something that's accountable. On the other, you have power that's based on force and deception, something that's completely unaccountable. This fundamental conflict right here, it's the key to everything else we're going to talk about, so keep it in mind. All right, so now that we have our lens, this idea of overflowing authority, let's apply it. First up, let's look at the systems that now govern what we see, what we know, and even what we think is right or wrong. Okay, this brings us to a kind of fancy-sounding term, algorithmic epistemic authority. But all it really means is the power to decide what is true. We're talking about the code that curates your social media feeds, that ranks your search results, the code that ultimately gets to decide what information is considered authoritative enough for you to even see in the first place. And boom, there's the direct link to Pharaoh. This impulse to control information for your own good is his exact logic. It's the voice of an authority that says, hey, don't worry about it. Let me decide what's too dangerous for you to hear. I know what you should believe better than you do. So why is this an overflow of authority? Well, think about it. These systems don't just show you information. They actively shape what billions of people believe is real. They're literally constructing our reality from behind a curtain of code with absolutely zero moral accountability. And this authority, it doesn't just stop at deciding what's true. Oh no. It also decides what's moral. I mean, just think about automated content moderation or these huge policy engines that enforce a very specific and often unspoken set of values on what we can say, and all of it happens without any real public debate. And this right here, this is the ultimate danger zone that the Quranic warning points to. When being good simply means complying with a platform's terms of service, and some policy engine replaces your own conscience, well, you can be sure authority has definitely overflowed its moral boundaries. So we've seen it with truth and morality, but the overflow of power now extends to justice itself. Let's see how this ancient concept explains some of the most modern systems of digital control. Welcome to the world of predictive systems. We're talking about stuff like predictive policing or risk scores that get you preemptively censored, or even social credit systems. Now, the crucial thing here is these systems don't punish a wrong that's been committed. They punish a potential wrong, something a computer thinks might happen in the future. And you know what? This logic is not new. Just listen to Pharaoh's justification for wanting to eliminate Moses. It wasn't because he actually did anything. It was because Pharaoh feared he might cause corruption. It's the exact same logic, punishing the possibility instead of the action. This is a fundamental twisting of justice. A cold calculation of probability completely replaces the principle of fairness. You're not judged on your actions anymore, but on your statistical likelihood of acting. Guilt comes before the crime. It's wild. But now we get to what the source argues is the most dangerous form of this power. It's not the authority you can see. It's the authority that pretends it isn't even there. We've all heard this one, right? Your account gets flagged, your video disappears, and the official explanation is just those 3 little words. It's a perfect way to just shut down the conversation. And then, of course, you have its close cousin. It's the exact same tactic. You frame a decision as this neutral, technical outcome. It completely removes human agency, and more importantly, it removes all responsibility. And right here, this is the ultimate deception. This claim of an authority that has no author, of power without a person responsible, is the most sophisticated lie of all. Because in the Quranic framework, guidance always has a moral owner. To claim you're neutral while you're secretly shaping reality? Well, that's the Pharaoh's greatest trick.
Okay, so after diagnosing the problem with this ancient lens, what's the solution? The source isn't just about critique. It actually offers a constructive countermodel, an anti-Taghut framework that's built on these same principles. So what's the antidote to all this overflow? Well, it's authority that operates within its proper bounds. It's guidance that relies on truth, not fear. It tries to persuade you, not coerce you. It's accountable and totally open to being questioned. And maybe most crucially, it recognizes its own limits. It doesn't try to be the only voice in your life.
And when you put it all together like this, the parallels are just stunning. The ancient tyrant's claim to be the ultimate guide? Well, that's today's algorithmic curation. Silencing dissent? That's just deranking and shadow banning. Preemptive punishment becomes predictive moderation. And that ultimate refusal of accountability is simply the phrase, the system decided. It's a perfect one-to-one match. And this is the core insight. If we're looking for the Pharaoh today, we're not going to find him on a throne wearing a crown. We're going to find him in the infrastructure, in the code and the systems that quietly, relentlessly, and invisibly decide for us what counts as reality. So what's our response? Look, the source is clear. This isn't a call to destroy our technology. It's a call for conscious engagement. By all means, use these tools, but you have to constantly question their claims to authority. You have to set deliberate limits on their influence. And most importantly, you must never submit your conscience or your sense of truth to an algorithm. Because in the end, this ancient framework, it isn't just for analyzing society. It's a deeply personal challenge. In a world of overflowing, unaccountable authorities, the most important decision you make every single day is this one. Who or what do you truly allow to guide you? Because that right there, that is the line where freedom ends and tyranny begins.